though no one told me laws of motion work this way. Constant velocity, or at rest it wants to stay. 3 laws of motion are always near. Newton's in your day, your week, your month, and even your year. This is how things move. You push a wall, it pushes back. This is how things move. External forces slow you down. This is how things move. And these laws apply to you.
Hi, this is our physics video on Newton's 3 laws of motion.
In this video, we'll be giving you some background info on Sir Isaac Newton.
And explaining his 3 laws of motion. We'll demonstrate with a few simple examples.
And we'll show you how Newton's laws come into play in some of our favorite activities.
Let's get started.
Sir Isaac Newton was born December 25th, 1642 and died on March 20th, 1727. Newton was an English mathematician, astronomer, theologian, author, and physicist who was widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time. His book, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, published in 1687, laid the foundations of classic mechanics. In his book, he outlined his 3 laws of motion, which are now highly acclaimed by physicists all over the world.
Newton's first law states that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object moving at a constant velocity will maintain that constant velocity, unless acted upon by an external or unbalanced force.
For example, if Reed is the object at rest and Mitchell is the external unbalanced force, Reed will not move until Mitchell runs into him. If Reed is moving at a constant velocity, he will maintain that constant velocity until Mitchell stops him. Now for applications.
Newton's first law is demonstrated when the ball hits the net. The ball is traveling at a velocity towards my opponent, but the return was too low. The ball hits the net and has an external unbalanced force act on it, and causes the ball to slow down and stop from the tension force that acted on it.
When doing fouette turns, my foot in the ground provides a force for me to spin at a constant velocity. When my foot stops providing the force, my body continues to spin at the same constant velocity.
Newton's first law is demonstrated by a ball hitting the net at a constant velocity forward. What happens is the force of tension in the net causes the ball to shoot backwards when it hits it, because the force of tension is the unbalanced external force acting upon the ball.
The horse is traveling at a velocity in the forward direction. As the rider, I am traveling in the same direction as the horse, with the same velocity. When the horse stops, my body tries to maintain the forward velocity, resulting in me appearing to fly forward.
Newton's second law states that unbalanced forces cause an object to accelerate in the direction of the force. If the net force is constant, then the acceleration is also constant. For example, if Elena is the object and Kennedy is the force, Elena will move in the direction Kennedy pushes her. If Kennedy pushes her in the same direction at a constant speed, Elena will also move in the same direction at the same constant speed. Now for applications. Serving the ball demonstrates second law. When the ball is thrown up, then hit, an unbalanced force from my paddle acts on the ball. The ball moves in the direction of my force. The acceleration is proportional to the applied force and inversely proportional to the mass of the ball.
When doing piqué turns, my foot presses into the ground, creating a force that pushes me to the right. Since the force is moving to the right, my body moves in the same direction.
Newton's second law is demonstrated by taking a shot. What happens is the ball that is at rest has an applied force from the stick, which is from me, acting upon it. This causes the ball to accelerate towards the net, or the direction in which I am shooting, usually resulting in me scoring a nice goal.
As the object or rider, when the horse accelerates, it causes me to move. When the horse is at rest, then begins to accelerate, I will also accelerate in the same direction as the horse. This is due to Newton's second law.
Newton's third law states that if object A applies a force to object B, then object B applies an equal and opposite force on object A. In other words, every action force has an equal and opposite reaction force.
For example, if Kennedy is object A and Mitchell is object B, Kennedy will feel the equal but opposite force she applies to Mitchell. Kennedy's hand is just as hurt as Mitchell's face.
Third law occurs every time the ball is hit. The ball exerts a force on the paddle. The paddle applies the same force back on the ball, and this makes the ball fly towards the wall.
When preparing to jump, my foot applies a force onto the ground. The ground then applies an equal but opposite force back into my foot, allowing me to spring into the air.
Newton's third law is demonstrated through a ball hitting the post. In this example, the ball hits the post applying a horizontal force on it, but the post is a solid object and does not move, so it applies the exact same force back on the ball, causing the ball to fly out in a random direction because the ball is not have a locked set position and the post does.
Third law is demonstrated when the horse jumps. What happens is the horse applies a downward force on the ground, and the ground applies an equal reaction force back on the horse's legs. This allows the horse's body to lift off of the ground, allowing them to exceed the height of the jump.
And that concludes our video on Newton's 3 laws of motion.
Thanks for watching. We hope you learned something new about how things move. Hi.
Told me laws of motion work this way.
Direction of the force.
Constant velocity,
If the-
or at rest it wants to
If Elena is the object,
Three
and Kennedy-
laws of motion are always near. Newton's in your day, your week, your month, and even your
Let's
year.
get started.
This
You're
is
supposed to
how
say it,
things
you idiot.
move. You push a wall, it pushes back. This is how things move. External forces slow you down.